Funny.
In Paris, Sam forces himself to attend a lively apartment party hosted by his ex-girlfriend. He isn't there to socialize or relive old memories. He just wants to retrieve his old cassette tapes and leave. When he finally manages to speak to his ex, she asks him to wait since she's busy entertaining guests. Reluctantly, Sam sits down, surrounded by unfamiliar faces and loud laughter, feeling painfully out of place. Eventually, tired of waiting, he asks her directly where his things are. She points him toward an office and tells him to stay inside so they can talk later. Ignoring the drunk partygoers stumbling through the hallway, Sam slips into the office, locks the door behind him, and begins searching. When he finally locates his tapes, a sudden nosebleed hits him. He grabs tissues, sits down for a moment, and before he knows it, drifts into a deep sleep. Sometime later, chaos erupts outside, shouting, running, panic, but Sam sleeps through all of it. By morning, he wakes, gathers his belongings, and opens the office door, only to freeze in horror. The apartment is destroyed, furniture overturned, walls smeared with blood, and no sign of living people. Heart racing, Sam picks up a random object for protection and cautiously steps outside the apartment. The hallway is a nightmare. The party guests, including his ex, have turned into zombies. When they lunge at him, he slams the door shut in pure terror. Looking out the windows, he realizes the nightmare is not isolated. Paris is in complete ruin. Zombies roam freely, attacking the few uninfected people in sight. A family attempting to escape in a car is immediately overwhelmed when the horn sounds, drawing hordes of infected to kill them. Desperate and alone, Sam begins searching the coats and bags left behind in the apartment. He finds dozens of cell phones, each filled with last messages, calls for help, and final goodbyes. When the hallway finally grows quiet, he slips out and heads to the rooftop, hoping for a rescue or survivor, but the city is silent. No help is coming. Determined to survive, Sam begins cleaning the apartment, scrubbing away the infected blood. Suddenly, a gunshot explodes from the floor below, leaving a hole in the floorboards. Peering through it, Sam sees a man lying dead. He had taken his life. Using a metal rod, Sam breaks open the floor until it's large enough to climb through. Inside the apartment below, he finds the man's wife, who had been shot earlier. Realizing the husband killed his infected wife before killing himself, Sam respectfully covers both bodies with blankets before searching the apartment for supplies. He takes food, bullets, and the man's weapon. After carefully checking the hallway, Sam moves down to the building's entrance. Zombies pound outside, so he rushes to slam the door shut just in time. With the building secure, he heads to the caretaker's room where he finds keys to every apartment and a can of tuna, which he devours. Gathering tools and supplies, he begins opening each apartment one by one. The first apartment contains a zombified family. One of them attacks him, but Sam manages to shove the creature away and escape, quickly locking the door and marking it with a large X. The rest of the apartments are empty. Sam collects whatever he can, mostly food, but sometimes odd items like a paintball gun. As a musician, he's thrilled to find an MP3 player, some cassettes, and even a full drum set. Just as he finishes his sweep, the elevator suddenly moves. Inside, Sam finds a zombie, but it behaves strangely calm. Instead of killing it, he locks it inside by tying the metal fence shut with a belt. That night, Sam eats while listening to his old tapes, letting old memories play in the background. The next morning, he watches the zombies outside from the window, then organizes his supplies carefully, rationing food and marking inventory in a notebook. He also draws a calendar grid on a dusty window and begins counting the days. To relieve stress, he plays on the drums, but the sound attracts zombies, forcing him to stop. Days pass. Sam cooks, marks the days, records sounds to create makeshift music, and occasionally goes to the rooftop to watch the silent city. Using the paintball gun, he entertains himself by shooting zombies on the street and crossing them off pictures of his ex. One day, a foul smell alerts him to the rotting bodies below. He moves them to the balcony, but cannot bring himself to discard them like garbage. Instead, he places them together on their bed inside sleeping bags, along with their sentimental belongings. After a quiet moment of respect, he seals the door with tape to contain the odor. Later, while showering, the water suddenly stops running. That night, he dreams of zombies invading his apartment, but wakes up relieved to find it was only a nightmare. He soon adds exercise to his daily routine, jogging around the building with music in his ears. Passing the elevator, he decides to shake the zombie's hand and names him Alfred. Eventually, rain falls. Sam sets out pots to collect water, washes himself, and sits beside Alfred smoking a cigar, telling him how not knowing his family's fate is the hardest part of surviving. Soon after, Sam sees a cat outside, the first living creature he's seen in ages. He rushes downstairs, opens a can of tuna, and tries to lure it out from under a car. Just as the cat gets close, a sudden noise scares it away. Sam goes searching, carefully hiding behind cars, but a zombie spots him. He dives into a vehicle and kicks the zombie away. only to notice another one approaching. He escapes through the back door and rushes inside the building. From the window, he sees the cat casually sitting next to the zombies, so he shoots it. Devastated. Inside, he notices blood on the floor and realizes the zombie cut his leg in the struggle. After treating the wound, he sits with a gun in front of a mirror, terrified he might be infected. He positions the gun to kill himself if symptoms appear, but eventually falls asleep, causing the gun to slip and fire harmlessly. When he wakes unharmed, he laughs with relief. Days later, while tending plants, he hears noises and spots someone in a building across the street. Unable to tell whether it's a zombie or a survivor, he rushes to the roof, but sees nothing. Cold nights force him to build a pillow fort and heat water using a small fire, trying to keep his mind calm. He begins imagining going out for supplies, but every time, fear stops him. Loneliness crushes him. He begins drinking, ranting at Alfred about how the zombies seem to have disappeared and how they're both alone. When he accidentally spills his drink on Alfred, the zombie shakes the cage violently, escalating Sam's meltdown. He throws his bottle and storms back to the apartment. Desperate for any shred of human connection, he plays the drums again. The loud noise immediately lures zombies back to the window. Later, feeling guilty, Sam apologizes to Alfred, but food is nearly gone. While listening to tapes of his family, he becomes emotional and knocks all his belongings off the table. That night, a noise wakes him. Without hesitation, he fires through the door. When he looks through the new bullet hole, he is horrified. He has shot a living woman. Sam rushes to her, carries her to a bed, and removes the bullet while begging her to survive. Outside her bag, he finds rope and a grappling hook. The next morning, he hears a faint sound. She's alive. Her name is Sarah, and she explains that she has been surviving by jumping across rooftops with her hook. She has seen a few survivors, but most have gone insane. Zombies can't climb well, but she never stays too long in one place. Sam insists his building is safe, though she warns that his gunshot has attracted zombies and eventually they'll break through the door simply out of boredom. Sam shows her around during his daily walk. She's shocked by Alfred, but Sam assures her Alfred won't harm them. Later, she helps him create music again, and for a moment, Sam feels truly alive. But with food nearly gone, Sam makes a tough decision. He cuts a hole in the door marked with an X and kills all the zombies inside, retrieving their untouched food supply. Returning to his apartment, he realizes Sarah is gone. He finds her on the roof preparing to jump across buildings again. She tells him she must practice. It's too dangerous to stay in one place for too long. Sam tries to stop her, begging her not to leave. She explains that staying means going mad or dying when zombies eventually break in. She storms off angrily. Sam follows, but when she doesn't answer him, something inside him shifts. He walks into the room and sees her dead on the bed. Sarah had never woken up during the night. Everything after the shooting was a hallucination born of Sam's crushing loneliness. He collapses beside her, crying, and gently arranges candles and a sheet over her body. Searching her bag, he finds a digital camera. The photos show her family, her past, and then a picture of Sam on the roof. Sarah really had been alive, watching him from the neighboring building before being shot. Accepting his deteriorating sanity, Sam decides it is time to leave. He burns his old tapes, straps on Sarah's bag, and heads to the roof with her grappling hook. Before leaving, he frees Alfred, who surprisingly does not attack him. Alfred wanders off into an empty apartment. Suddenly, the fire alarm blares, alerting all the zombies at the entrance, who burst inside the building and rush after Sam. He shoots several, but is quickly overwhelmed and forced to flee. He jumps into the elevator shaft, climbs up, and escapes into an empty apartment. A zombie follows, so Sam traps it under a curtain and later under a couch. He climbs onto the couch, pulls himself back to his apartment through the hole, and finds the place filled with thick smoke. Zombies wander blindly through it, allowing him to slip past unnoticed. He reaches the rooftop and throws the hook toward the opposite building. A zombie appears behind him, forcing Sam to leap in panic. He slams hard against the wall but grabs hold. When he regains consciousness, he realizes he made it across. A zombie lunges from the window, so Sam climbs to the roof instead and stares at the vast ruined city. Far away, faint noises echo. Maybe survivors, maybe hope.